Hi, and welcome to PMPLounge.com. This is Lounge Fever, wherein we try to tackle your burning questions. Question for the day: what is the difference between a stakeholder and a sponsor? So, who is a stakeholder? Who is a sponsor? What's going on here? Let's try to address this question. So, first up, a stakeholder. Anyone who will be affected by the outcome of the project is a stakeholder on your project. So, as simple as that, anyone who you feel will be affected by the project. So, of course, the resources that will be involved, of course, the clients, the customers, right? They are all stakeholders to the of your project. So that is the basic definition of a stakeholder. Now, project manager, as a project manager, it is your duty, it is your basically it's your part, it falls into your bucket to identify all these stakeholders and manage their expectations. So you don't just identify a stakeholder and be happy about it. You need to manage their expectations. So let's say you know of a customer, an ABC customer who is a stakeholder in your project because he is affected by the outcome of your project. You need to manage their expectations. What does the ABC customer expect from your project? You need to manage those expectations. Does that mean you are going to manage everyone's expectations? Well, of course not. There could be tons of stakeholders for every project. It's a project manager's prerogative to define the importance of the stakeholders, right? So if the CEO of your company is a major stakeholder in your project, it is project manager's responsibility to make sure that the CEO is aware of what's going on in the project, and it is again the responsibility of the project manager to make sure the CEO is happy with the project, right? And again, it also depends on the kind of impact the stakeholder has. So let's say someone who is not really that important, let's say the HR, right? Your HR is also a stakeholder in your project because he is supposed to be giving you resources. So how important is he? Well, of course, he's extremely important. Is he as important as the CEO? Well, maybe not, right? So it's up to the project manager to define who all are the important stakeholders on every project, and it is up to the project manager to make sure that their expectations are met and they are basically aware of what's going on in the project. Now, not everyone in the organization or outside the organization, because your stakeholders can come from outside the organization as well, right? So let's say your project is to construct a building in a piece of land, right? Which is the kind of building that you're constructing is a commercial building, right? Let's say that area wherein you're trying to construct your building is a residential area. The residents do not want a commercial building to be erected in their locality. Those residents are negative stakeholders on your project. So you need to manage the stakeholders, not just the positive ones, but you need to manage the negative stakeholders as well. So if your project is to construct a commercial building in a residential area and the residents of that area are not really happy with your project, well, of course, they are the negative stakeholders, and you need to make sure how you turn them your into your positive stakeholders, you know. So that's something which is the responsibility of the project manager. Like I said, not all stakeholders are positive stakeholders, not all stakeholders are rooting for the success of the project. There could be negative stakeholders as well, and as a project manager you should be able to deal with the negative stakeholders also. Now, let's talk about sponsor and what is the difference between a stakeholder and a sponsor. Well, to be frank, there's no difference at all because We define stakeholder, right? In the definition itself of the stakeholder, it clearly mentions that anyone who will be affected by the outcome of the project is a stakeholder. Well, of course, the sponsor will be affected. So a sponsor is also a stakeholder, as simple as that. So there could be, there could be people with the different roles on your project, but they all fall under the umbrella of stakeholder. They are all stakeholders to your project. A sponsor is a stakeholder, your engineer is a stakeholder, the architect is a stakeholder, the tester is a stakeholder, right? The CEO could be a stakeholder, your customer is a stakeholder, right? So everyone is a stakeholder. It's an umbrella term. A sponsor is also a stakeholder. But what are the basic duties of the sponsor? What is the sponsor supposed to be doing? Let's take a look at that. So the sponsor of the project is responsible for creating the project charter, and we have dealt with project charter in quite a bit of detail. I'll link to the playlist in the description below so you can go over and understand what a project charter is and why it is one of the most important artifacts of the project. So sponsor, it is the sponsor's responsibility to create the project charter. Will he be writing the project charter himself? Maybe not. He may assign it to the project manager or the project team or somebody else, maybe the business analyst, but it is the responsibility of the sponsor to create the project charter. Now, why does the sponsor wants to create the project charter? Well, that is because the sponsor is the one who is responsible to be paying for the project. In this case, if you are delivering a project, can your CEO be the most important stakeholder? Yes. Can your CEO be the sponsor of your project? Of course, yes, right? So, CEO can be the sponsor of your project. Anyone who is paying you to do your job for the project is the sponsor of the project. Remember, sponsor pays for the project. Project manager manages the project. That's the difference between the two. So that's all that we had with this quick video. Hope you understood what stakeholders are and what sponsor is, who a sponsor is. Stakeholders is an umbrella term, whereas your sponsor can also be and not just can, is most definitely a stakeholder, right? So that's all with this Lounge Fever video. You can always comment your question and we'll definitely get back to you. Maybe we can make a video on it as well if it's feasible. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't done so already, and check us out on our social media, facebook.com/pmblounge and twitter.com/pmblounge. As always, do check out the website pmblounge.com, your number one free resource for project management certification, the PMP certification, as well as what's going on in the project management industry. You can get to know there as well. Thank you.